In the spirit of reconciliation, the entire team at Curious Freedom acknowledges the traditional custodians of country throughout Australia and their connection to land, waters, and community. We acknowledge that sovereignty was never ceded. It always was and always will be Aboriginal land. We pay our respects to their elders, past and present, and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders people listening today. I would like to acknowledge in particular the Darug people who are the original custodians on the land on which I record this podcast. Thank you for showing us what Curious Freedom can look like. Hi, and welcome to the Curious Freedom podcast with me, Kirsty Farrugia, and friends. And today I have a new friend with me, and her name is Mrg Simon. So welcome, Mrg.
Well, thank you, Kirsty. Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited to have you. So you are a listener of the podcast and you've received my emails, and you got an email a couple months ago and you replied and said, "Ooh, thank you for the email. And can I tell you about my new book that I'm launching?" And I was so excited to hear about it. And we've already had a chat about it. Then I asked you to come on the podcast. So with all that in mind, tell our beautiful curious ones more about you, because you've got an incredible story and I want them to hear it.
Well, certainly. Thank you. My name is Mrg Simon, and it's just 3 letters, Mrg, and it's pronounced Mrg. So you aren't mishearing anything, and Kirsty's not mispronouncing anything. It really is Mrg. I'm a professional organizer, and I am KonMari certified. I have been organizing, well, I've probably been organizing my whole life, but I've been professionally organizing since 2018. So I'm at about my 5-year mark of professionally organizing. And what I like to do is help clients transform their homes and their offices into spaces that help them realize their joy and their purpose, their vision for their future. I specialize in helping lawyers do their offices. I really enjoy helping lawyers because I understand their business, and they're usually very slow to let outside consultants into a law firm to do anything. And so when they learn that I'm a lawyer, they immediately know that I understand the rules of confidentiality and privacy, and that I will treat all their records and papers and books with the utmost delicacy. So that helps with lawyers and law firms. It also helps with the average client too, as you can imagine. It's a big deal to invite someone into your home to see all of the mess that you've got. And it's really a moment of vulnerability, and I try to make that as easy for my clients as it can be. And I've been working with clients for some time now, and my clients inspired me to develop a philosophy of intentional living that is based on the KonMari philosophy. The KonMari method relates to tidying your physical space, and my intentional living concept takes that approach and applies it not to your physical space, but to your mental space, to your whole life outside of your home and inside your home. The way you dream that your life would always be is what I think intentional living is designed to achieve for each client. And I feel so passionate about this that I did start writing a book about it at the urging of some of my friends. I've got a group of solopreneurs like myself, and we meet once a week and we brainstorm issues and solve problems and commiserate occasionally. But they really were the ones who encouraged me to take what I do on my own in creating an annual planner and encouraged me to make that into a planner for the rest of the world to see and use, because it is so unique. There's just nothing like it on the market. So it's been quite a journey going from attorney to organizer to author. When I was a lawyer, I practiced for about 30 years, and 20 of those years I was in-house counsel to an electric generating and transmission company. So I did really nerdy stuff, really highly detailed, but kind of boring. But one day I passed my 20th anniversary and I just started thinking. And a month after that, I quit my job with the idea that I would go into business for myself. I wouldn't necessarily recommend doing that in the same way that I did. You know, it's nice to have that plan up and running before you quit your job. I knew there'd be a financial impact, but I wasn't prepared for the emotional impact of going from seeing dozens and dozens of people every day and having conversations and helping people, you know, in the morning, in the afternoon, whenever they needed help, and then going to total silence, working out of my own home office without another soul around. It was great for the first couple weeks to have that peace and quiet. And then it started to drive me crazy until I really found my passion in organizing. And that happened when we were about to move to Tampa, Florida from Sioux Falls, South Dakota, which in the U.S. is about halfway across the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
So I really pared things down using the KonMari method before we moved. And that just really got the passion running in my veins and really is the impetus for me taking the certification course in 2019 and becoming certified and continuing to use the KonMari method in the way that I practice with my clients.
And you were so lucky to actually be trained before lockdown happened. So tell us about that.
Oh, yes. My class in Brooklyn, New York was the last in-person class, and it was very special. We broke into small groups and we spent the whole weekend with our small groups, got to know people, and we also paired up with business buddies, accountability partners, if you will. And my accountability partner and I are still going strong. Eileen is just so supportive and she helps keep me on track. We had amazing speakers, but first and foremost was, of course, hearing Marie speak. And she did speak for about 5 minutes in English. And then she had her translator come up. And it was, obviously much easier for the words to flow for her. She is just such a petite little thing and such a ball of energy all at the same time. She is very passionate about what she's doing, and having that opportunity for all of us to be together in that one room for the weekend was just fabulous. Marie was only there for the first day, but the instructors were great. We had Patty Morrissey and Amanda Jefferson, and I'm going to forget the third speaker. I apologize. I forget her name.
It's okay.
She's from DC, and I should remember her name, and it's just blanking on me. But it was great because we got the opportunity during breaks to go outside and go for a walk together in the fall air at this botanical garden where this was held. It was just a peaceful, serene place to hold the training. And it just had those informal opportunities to strike up conversations and make connections with other people that are a little harder to do in Zoom and in Zoom breakout rooms. Breakout rooms are getting better as a way to make connections, but there's just something about being in person that makes it extra special.
Yeah. And so you've also moved from Florida and now you're living in Texas.
Yes.
And so you've moved a few times with your husband's job. And now you are a professional organizer in Texas. So is that Glenrose? Is that the right?
Glenrose.
Yay. So listeners, curious ones, if you live in the Glenrose region of Texas, then please get in contact with Mrg. She would love to help you. And if you're a lawyer listening, come and get her to help declutter and organize your law firm or your home office. As you can hear, she's very gentle and kind. So you are so creative, and I love how you really mix both your thoughtful and intentional and logical and organized brain, and you mix that with your incredible artistry. And you've done that so beautifully in this book called My Intentional Year, Organising My Life for Joy and Meaning. So tell us how you came up with that name, and then tell us more about this journal organizer planner that you have, because I think it's just, as you said, there's nothing else like it on the market, and it is so beautiful.
Oh, thank you. I just love the cover art. It has some pale pink peonies on the cover of it, and I just adore peonies. My intentional year came about because there was a point in my life when my oldest child started high school, and being as bright as I am, it occurred to me we only had 4 more summers left with him to take family vacations and do things as a family together. And I had felt like my life was on autopilot, and I was just letting my life happen to me. I wasn't really steering it in any particular direction. So my husband and I started doing some strategic planning for our marriage and our family. On our anniversary, we'd go out to dinner, and instead of having a nice, relaxing dinner, I'd have my pen and paper out, and we would be strategizing what year would be best to go to Yellowstone, or what's best to go to Hawaii, and should we send the kids to camp? Should we not? Things like that, as well as what activities they should be involved in and what we can handle just between the two of us. So having had that background in my past, it really felt like the KonMari method, as many times as I've used it with myself and with clients, is really about being intentional with your belongings, really being deliberate about what you keep, and what you feature around your home because it brings you joy, and letting go of things that don't support the vision that you have for the future. So that's where the intentionality came in. The subtitle, Organizing My Life for Joy and Meaning, is really about one of the core tenets of Marie Kondo's teaching is spark joy. You have to find objects that spark joy, and joy is a sensation, a feeling. It's not a fleeting thing. It's something that you feel down in your soul. You know that connection. You know, the first time I was working with a client and we were going through boxes of her children's school year papers, and all at once she pulled out a frame with a photograph in it of her son feeding geese at the Capitol Lake. And she just went crazy. Where has this been? I've been looking for this. This is just so wonderful. I can't believe I finally found it. I just love this picture. And I said, right there, that's what joy is. That right there is how you should feel about all the things that surround you. You should feel that level of excitement and that deep satisfaction with everything that you own. It should either serve you well or bring you great joy. And the meaning part of it grows out of the fact that when I was done with my first tidying festival in my own home, I discovered that I had a ton of time on my hands. I didn't know what to do with myself. And that's when I looked around and kind of went, you know, I have a beautiful home, a loving family, nothing's out of place. You know, the kids are grown and gone, so I don't have to worry about them making messes. But I kind of felt a little empty. You know, I had achieved my goal and I was able to maintain it, but what did I have to show for myself other than that simple physical act? And that's when I realized that the purpose of going through this exercise of tidying is to allow each of us to have the time to do the things that matter the most to us, to build on our relationships, to volunteer, to do the things that bring meaning to our lives, reconnecting with your purpose. So the title says a lot to me because I really want to help people have a year that is very deliberate and results in joy and purpose in their life. So if I talk that long about the title, how long am I going to talk about the book?
I love it. Keep talking.
The book is 242 pages, which nearly gets you a page for every day of the year. But it's filled with articles, tips, inspiration, and also illustrations. We have illustrations to start every month. So, for example, January is a bluebird sitting in a tree, and you can color that in however you want to color in that bird. It's your bird, and you can color it however you want. I found myself doing a lot of doodling and drawing and using colored pencils just to relax in the evenings. I find it very relaxing. So I've sprinkled all sorts of illustrations throughout the book for you to color and prompts for you to do some doodling if you feel like it. And
I love that. I love that because I love how when we can be in a creative state, and be in flow in creativity, then that can often open our minds up to thinking more about purpose and thinking more about meaning, and ideas can drop into our mind. Not that they can't drop into our mind at any time, but I think there's something really, really special about being creative that opens ourselves up to different imaginings and being able to have that space in your mind for those ideas to drop in and for those dreams to blossom and for you to be just open. I think I can't describe it any other way right now. And so I love that when you've created this book for us to be intentional and to be really deliberate and thoughtful about planning our year and planning our days and planning our weeks, that there is space there for the creative, and that it's not just all head knowledge. It's not just all like logical and strategic. It's also allowing us to tap into the creative.
Yes, you hit on something that's very important to me, and it's something that people have noticed about me, and we call it the brains of a lawyer and the soul of an artist.
I love that.
So I can easily move from the left side of my brain to the right side of my brain without any difficulty. So it really helps to free things up and to think of things in different ways. And I have a lot of articles. I have an article every month and sometimes bonus articles on things like positive change, the 1%, based on James Clear's Atomic Habits.
Mm-hmm.
I do emphasize the importance of habits and routine in achieving and maintaining the lifestyle that you want to have. I have articles on intentional living and finding joy and how to get clear on what your vision is and how to maintain motivation and celebrate the small things in our life, as well as in December, a reflection on the season of joy and meaning. They're bite-sized chunks of information that keep you back on the straight and narrow. One of the things that was in my head when I was writing this book is I thought back to tidying festivals that I had done, where I had helped someone go through their entire home from closet to sentimental items, inside and out. And at the end of it, I would give them advice on how to maintain the routines. But I just felt like there was something wanting. Like I should leave them with something more than just remember to do the same thing every day. You know, if you can do it in 5 minutes, do it right now. So this is really targeted at clients who have gone through the KonMari process, either in part or the whole tidying festival. And it's also targeted at KonMari consultants themselves, because I know we all struggle at times with different ways to explain to our clients parts of the concepts of the KonMari philosophy and what it means to be living the vision that you have in your life. There are 6 rules of tidying, and the first rule is commit yourself to tidying up. But the second rule is imagine your ideal lifestyle. And in my practice, I spend a lot of time with my clients imagining what their ideal lifestyle is like. We don't want to just jump right into somebody's closet and start throwing things left and right and creating piles of skirts and shirts and pants. And it's really important to me that my client understand what their vision is and why they want to tidy and what it is that they expect to get out of their life from going through the tidying process. That turns into a very reflective process. And it turns out that when you start slipping, like I do, and I'm sure everyone does now and then, if I start slipping, all I need to do is remember what my vision is. And that's the why behind it. It's not just about the what you do, but it's about why you do it. And that is intentionality. And that is bringing that into your life every day, over and over. And for me, it's been a game changer. Not that I was particularly unhappy before, but I never knew what joy really felt like. And to know the joy that I get from my own KonMari practice and the joy that I get from helping other people, watching them go through the process and have that aha moment where it all clicks and they understand what we're talking about when we say an item sparks joy. And it just clicks for them. And all at once, they get it. And they're just committed to the process and they go and go. And it's just fabulous. It inspires me so much to see my clients at work and others at work living out their best life.
I love it. And I love that I feel like listeners and curious ones hear me bang on about intentionality all the time. And I'm not KonMari certified, but I think, the majority of us professional organizers and declutter coaches start with that vision, and we ask our clients what their vision is. Because like, as you said, that's the anchor. That's what can bring us back when we're feeling despondent about, ugh, I can't do this, or I've slipped backwards, or no, I want to keep everything. Actually, I've got to that point of the decluttering where no, you can't make me let go of anything more. We can bring them back to like, oh, I'm not here to make you get rid of anything that you don't want to. I'm here to encourage you to live in intentionality and live into the vision that you have for your space. Why are we even here? Like, why are you here? Why are we here together to declutter the home? And bringing them back to that and starting with that and then bringing them back to it when we get the wobbles is so helpful, because it's all about them. It's not, then it's not about somebody imposing their ideas on them. It's about like, oh no, I'm listening to Kirsty and Mrg today because I have a vision for my home, and what they're talking about today can help me and inspire me and encourage and motivate me to get to that vision that I have, not just for my home, but for my entire life. And so I love this book that you've created. I love how creative it is and how inspiring it is. And I am excited. Like, I hopped on your website. So everybody listening, it will be in the show notes, but it is my-intentional-year.com. And if you buy the book before March 15, but you want to buy it well before that anyway, because you want to be using it from January 1st, but you get all these bonuses. So tell us about them, Mrg.
Oh, yes. There's the bonus content is we have a private Facebook group. We have an Instagram page, but the private Facebook group is kind of at the heart of it. And that's where we talk about how to do this, how to figure out what your vision is, how to set your goals, and then how to work with them. And in addition, once a month, we'll have Zoom calls where we can talk about whatever the participants are interested in. I'll have some prepared content. Obviously, with January, we'll start off on the basics of the vision and the goals and the action steps. But it's for all comers. Anyone who buys the book early is welcomed. They will get a follow-up email from me. If they're purchasing from my website, they'll get an invitation. And if they purchase from Amazon, there are instructions in the book on how to get to that Facebook group. So I hope that everybody will take advantage of that, because it would just be wonderful to have active participation. And it's just fascinating to discuss these things, intentionality and purpose and reconnecting to the meaning in your life. It's just fascinating to talk with other people about it. And I really enjoy that. And I wanted to give people extra value in purchasing this book.
And it's always, well, for most people, it's encouraging to do things in community and encouraging to be held accountable and to ask for that accountability with other people. So I am excited that you're gathering like-minded people around you to journey through this 2024 together. Like I'm so excited for you. It has been so beautiful to chat to you. Is there anything else that you want the curious ones to know before we go?
Nothing in particular, just living with an open heart and being open to the intentionality of your real dreams. It's possible. It's all possible. And I think you'll find that my daily planner, which is called My Intentional Year, Organizing My Life for Joy and Meaning, can really help you walk step by step through that journey of yours.
So where can people follow you and find you?
You can find me on Facebook, Mrg Simon, Mrg Simon. My business name is Designed to Stick. 2 is the number 2. The business has a Facebook page. I'm on Instagram at my-intentional-year.com. You can reach me at hello@my-intentional-year.com and in the private Facebook group. So when you get your book, you will find in the early pages of the book on Roman numeral page 9, you'll find all the instructions on how to join the Facebook group and the Instagram group. It's all right there in the book.
Well, thank you again. I am just going to read a review from one of the curious ones. And so this is from Deirdre, and Shen, I think is how you say your last name. So I apologize if that is not. She is also from the USA, and the review was left. Now I don't even know when that was left, because I think because it's an American, it was done on Apple Podcasts in the USA. It's done the American way of dating, which is different to the Australian way of dating. So you guys put your month first and then the date and then the year. And whereas we do the correct way and do the day, the month and the year. So I think this is left on the 6th of September, and she writes, it's a 5-star review, and says, 1 to add to your rotation. The conversations on this podcast always leave me thinking, and it's got that genuine vibe that's hard to come by. A great listen for those moments when you want something thought-provoking yet chill. Deirdre. So, oh my gosh, thank you so much, Deirdre, for leaving such a beautiful review. I would really appreciate you leaving a rating and a review for the podcast, because it helps other people to discover Mrg and me from this podcast. Yeah, it would be a wonderful gift that you could give to me. So there is my plug for you to do a review this week. And as I said, I will put all the links in the show notes for you to find Mrg. So if you're in Glen Rose, Texas area, please reach out to her and get her to come in and help you. Whereas if you're in Sydney or Melbourne or virtually around the world, I would love for myself and my team to come in and help you in your home to get organized and achieve the vision that you have for your home, then get in contact with me at hello@curiousfreedom.com.au. And I also remember something else I wanted to say. I did a Facebook Live in our Facebook community, Curious Freedom community, about asking people if they want to come on the podcast. So if you, like Mrg, would love to be interviewed by me on the podcast, and you do not need to be a professional organizer, although professional organizers are welcome. But yeah, if you want to come on the podcast, share your story or ask me questions and get me to help you in a public setting like this, then also contact me at hello@curiousfreedom.com.au and tell me why you'd like to be on the podcast, and you might get the opportunity to be on the podcast as well. So I am excited to meet more of you and hear more of your stories. So again, thank you, Mrg, for being here today, and I am wishing you all the success for My Intentional Year. I can't wait to follow along with your journey and continue to champion this book and you. So thank you again for being on the podcast. And until next week, curious ones, have a great week. Bye.
Thanks, Kirsty. It was fun getting acquainted with you.